So let me tell you about my day. I woke up late because I stayed up late, and so I had to go to a funeral at 12 o'clock. Artist friend that I've known for years, his wife died, and she was 40 years old, and she left two daughters, and so they ran an art school that I grew up in. I used to paint as a real artist, and I did about four paintings there. But anyway, she died, and I woke up like 30 minutes before the actual funeral. So I went downstairs. I never asked my dad for a ride, but I asked him today. And so we get in the car, and he drives me over across town. And my friend is not very business kind of, he's not very social. Okay, he's less social than I am as an artist, and he didn't really give us the right instruction. So I tell my dad to go on, and I go up in the office and I get the information, and I also get the information, just a number to make sure where my mom's grave is. And at that time, I come back out, and my friends who lost his wife, the artist, his mom and dad, which is 80 years old, comes up. I guess their son, I don't know, his brother-in-law, I don't know who it was, but they were driving him. And so I asked them, do you know where to go? They didn't know the information. They had the wrong information. And so I showed it where it is. It was way on the other side of the graveyard. And it's a beautiful graveyard. I used to play in there as a kid, me and my brothers. We go in there with our bikes and go up and down the hills. And so it's a huge place. And so we had to go way on the other side. But I didn't have a ride because I told my dad to go. So as soon as I started to step in, here comes some lady, and I don't know her, from Frit for Frat, white lady. She was nice looking too. She offered me a ride. She takes me way over to the other side. I think her name was Julie. I forgot now. But it was very nice. I've had people just like when I was stranded, just look at me and say, "Oh, he needs a ride," knowing that I was in the middle of nowhere, and they be white ladies too, and I'll be like, "Yo, y'all kind of, that's I think they're really angels, because the timing, it was like I didn't even have to think about it. It was like, you need a ride, and you did what you were supposed to do right there. And now they were going, I actually beat his parents over to the other side. So we get there, and so they have this just a little small. It was a very, very small family group, and it was really it was a little tough. I met his mom and all of that stuff, but the pastor just had already, the preacher had just already said a prayer. He was Catholic, and Molly's, who is Lenore's mother, she ran an art school that I grew up in. And when I was around 20, I did some paintings there. So they were gonna have a regular service across town, and so but when they dispersed, I went over and went to my mom's funeral site, and it was really, really what I needed. I hadn't been there. A friend of mine said that his mom told him, don't come there looking for me because I ain't there. I'm a million miles away. And my mom is in the bosom of Abraham. So it was good to be there. It was good to be there. And I was a little bit conflicted about going there, but when I got there, it was all right. And so there's some things about that. So anyway, I left, and then I go walk around, and I get into the train. I see this guy named Howard that I grew up with as a kid in high school. And he waved. He was in some kind of gardening truck. I go down into the subway, and I go down in the subway, and then I'm dancing around listening to my iPod, and some Colombian girls, we started talking. And we started talking about dancing and stuff like that. So I go back uptown to Starbucks, and then Darnell is there, who is one of my artist proteges, which I teach a lot of artists. and I teach some of them in this area because I'm trying to build a community of people I still can't get no funding and stuff like that. So I've been teaching people, and I still haven't gotten any funding for my film. So, and the mama stuff, I'm talking to the small business, and that's a loan. You got to make money off of this, and then you got to have a loan payment, and so, and the grants are kind of drying up anyway. But I teach a lot of people, and I train a lot of people. Some of them have mental problems. Some of them are gay. Some of them, they're just disenfranchised people. And I've been in New York, and I've learned a lot of skills, and they're trying, so I try to help them. And so, but Darnell hangs up in the Starbucks, and once every now and then, but he does it a little too much. But there's a group of guys that do it too much. But anyway, there's another guy that came after he left, and I used to have a little bit of a fling with his ex-girlfriend, but he stays with Darnell, and we're friends, and we talk, and everything is cool. And we went over to the supermarket, and then we kind of split up, and I went over to the section where you can get the food. It's great for a guy who doesn't cook or anything like that. So while I'm sitting there, then there's this guy that he's my age. He's very professional though, and he has a tie, and a nice office shirt, and pants, slacks. And he's really articulate, very eloquent, but he's trying to get in the graphics business, but on a project manager level and graphics with Dreamweaver and website building and stuff like that. But he asked me information on how to get clients, and the problem with there's a lot of backbiting and backstabbing and stuff when you deal with people, and especially black folks, in a small area like this. They just backbiting. I wanted to make a blacklist book, but after a while I just got my thing together. A lot of those folks turned their back on me. I'm just doing my thing now. So, but one of the guys, he tells me that one of the guys that worked around him actually murdered somebody. So it was just horrific. And so we had a very deep and spiritual conversation and about dealing with certain people, because one of the guys that, again, one of the backbiters, and all of these folks are just very negative to him, and they almost got into a fight. And you really got to get away from that kind of stuff. So anyway, we ate, and then I went to the bus and caught the bus home, and I stopped in the store, talked to the Arab guys, and then I was here, and I was doing a couple of things, answered some email, had some fun, and it was already 6 o'clock, so I had to get back out, go to the bus, and go downtown to go to the actual service that they were having, which is not the burial, because she got it was a cremation. So they just did things very differently, and because they're artists. And so I go downtown, and I go downtown, and then I realize I'm in the wrong place. I check the instructions, and I realize that I really don't know the city anymore, even though I grew up here. And so I go back uptown, and I get on the train. There's this young guy. He's staring at me, right? And so I know he's gay, right? And so he's got his eyebrow cut, and he's dressed nice though, But I ask him. I say, "Do you know where the street is?" And he gives me, we're walking up together. He's walking real fast, I guess, because he's young or something, but he already has somewhere to go. But, he's got this real strong list, but he punches in the information, and he's very, very helpful dude. And then I realized that my iPod has a GPS kind of thing in it, but I never used it. So I'm walking around lost, but he helped me out, and I went go down the street. Then I get on the other side of the town, and then there's these two gay dudes on a bike. These are white dudes this time. And I couldn't find where I was supposed to. And then he punches in, or I just lost the instructions. I'm terrible with that. And then he punches in the information, and it's these, and they're, they're on a bike. You can tell they're gay. And so he's like, well, it's 30 more minutes. And I'm like walking. I'm like, okay, the funeral service is not a good idea, but they're going to have a reception at the art school where I used to paint, and Molly runs, and Lenore used to run. And so they're going to have a big festival, banquet, whatever there. So I decided to walk up there, and on the way up there, I stopped in this coffee house, which is real interesting because they had these dance classes there. So they're doing like the waltz, and there's just all these beautiful people there, and they're doing waltzes, and I having coffee. But it's just like a small crowd, but they're all dancing, and they're really good dancers, and they have this like where you can take a dance lesson. And it's salsa a little bit if I'm in a crowd, but the real salsa, I don't really know. And so I'm thinking about going there. But so I stopped, and I was gonna dance, but I said, no. So I go back over there. I get to the banquet, and I have a beautiful time. I'm meeting all these people and stuff like that. And I brought some food home, and we talked, and Molly, I did cry eventually, but that was because I hugged Molly, and Molly is just everything, and she invited me to come paint back there like I used to 20 years ago, and so I felt real good about that. So I probably will go down there and paint, but I'm definitely gonna show you guys some of the that studio, and it's not. It's just an art place, and so you'll see it when you see it. But it was a beautiful. So I just wanted to tell you guys about my day.